So first, let's talk about debt. This chart tells you, I think, the way in which most foreign economists and many Chinese economists think about the biggest risk for China's economy. It shows you the ratio of debt to GDP in China. In 2008, China's debt to GDP was around 140%. Fast forward to 2015, and that debt level had leapt to 250%. Now, if we look around the world and we scan the history books, we can't find any other countries that have taken on as much debt as China as quickly as China has. But we can find a number of countries that took on significant debt, but less debt than China, and still had a financial crisis. Korea in 1997 took on a lot of debt, not as much as debt as China. They had a financial crisis. The US in 2006, 2007 took on a lot of debt, not as much debt as China. They still had the Lehman shock and the great financial crisis. And if we look a bit deeper into China's financial system, well, if we think about the borrowers, we have zombie enterprises, we have real estate developers building ghost towns in the desert, we have local governments building roads to nowhere. And if we look at the lender side, we have the explosive growth of a shadow banking sector, skirting the rules, skirting the regulations, and growing faster than they should do. So if you put all of that together, it looks like an extremely risky picture. But what that picture misses is something really important about financial crises and something really important about China's financial system, and that's what's happening on the liability side of banks' balance sheets. Remember that financial crises do not start on the asset side of the balance sheet. Lehman Brothers did not fall over because it had too many investments in mortgage-backed securities. Korea's banks did not fall over because they had too much exposure to crony capitalist corporations. Financial crises start on the liability side of banks' balance sheets. Financial crises start because banks run out of funding. Lehman fell over because the money markets decided they didn't want to fund it anymore. Korea's banks in the Asian financial crisis fell over because foreign investors pulled their money out of the country. What does that mean for China? Well, China has an extremely high savings rate and it has controls on moving money out of the country. And what that means is that there is a continued pileup of funds in the banking system. China's deposit base, the deposit base for the banks continues to grow, and that means the funding for the banks is very secure. And so even as problems on the asset side of the balance sheet increase, and I am sure that there are a vast quantity of hidden bad loans on China's bank balance sheets, the trigger for crisis isn't there.